What's up, everyone? Welcome into another episode of Instant Reaction presented by Sony here on the Colts Audio Network and on the Colts YouTube page. I'm JJ Stankevitz, joined once again by Colts Ring of Honor wide receiver Bill Brooks to break down the Colts' latest game. Bill, the Colts 25-24 winners over the New England Patriots. We got to start with the 2-point conversion call. And when the Colts got down to the 2-yard line for the second and goal play, there's 30 something seconds to go. And I turned to Amanda Foster, who's up in the press box with me in New England, and I was like, I wonder if Shane goes for two here. But then I kind of backed off that because the Colts ran three plays there. And usually, Bill, you'll sometimes see coaches say, we had a play in there that we liked, but we didn't go for two there because we exhausted all the plays we were going to run down at the goal line. Well, there's not much that you can't exhaust when you have Anthony Richardson as an option to carry the football. So that right there, that is a real asset for the Colts and for Shane Steichen. And I think that led him to say, okay, yeah, we've had to call, the first play the Colts ran down there, Bill, was Anthony got stopped on it, but it was the same play that he scored the touchdown on where he did the 360 spin. So that same play, they then run the pitch to JT, they hit the touchdown to Pierce, and then they just say, all right, let's call zone read to Anthony, where he's going to read 48, the linebacker to Vi. If he stays home, Richardson keeps it. If he crashes down on Richardson, he gives it to Taylor. Taylor probably walks in for a touchdown. But Bill, in that moment, it had to be Anthony Richardson with the football in his hands. And that showed such a faith in this team that starting from Shane Steichen on down, that I think Bill can be a potential real spark for this football team going forward.
Oh, it definitely can be a spark. And as you said, it showed faith in the offense. It showed faith in the young guys playing up front. I should say the new guys playing up front with Pinter, Glowinski, and Gonzalez out there. But then to have the trust and the faith in Anthony to go out and execute the play. And they said all along they weren't going to give up on Anthony. They trusted Anthony. They're going to have faith in Anthony. And it showed on that play right there in regards to putting the ball in Anthony's hands and letting Anthony have an opportunity to go win the game, which he did. And when you have an athlete like that out there in the football field, especially at quarterback, that can run and run people over and move the pile, you want to give him an opportunity. And I'm sure the players enjoyed that. They felt good about the coach having confidence in them to be able to go out there and win the game. And they did that. They executed the play, win the game, and get back on the plane and come on home.
If you look at that play too, Bill, Quentin Nelson pulls from left to right. And I think Matt Gonzalez might have had a bit of a hand in this, but he shoves Christian Barmore over like flat on his back. And that helps create this little lane for Richardson where ultimately he's got a linebacker coming from the back side of the play, and then another one coming up front. And you need like two or three defensive linemen to stop Anthony Richardson. Two linebackers aren't going to do it down there on the goal line. And, talking to guys in the locker room, Bill, they all said, like, once that play was called, we knew we were going to score because hey, we got the ball in Five's hands, and we know 2 yards for him, the way that he plays and the way that he can be physical down there, it's not easy, but that's a play we feel really confident in. And, it certainly paid off there with the Colts winning the football game.
Exactly. It did pay off. And I mean, they felt confident because in previous games against the Jets, he got down by the goal line, he gets it in, he runs it in. So the guys know that he is athletic enough, he's strong enough, he's big enough, he's fast enough to execute the play, get the tough yards when he needs to. And, those plays that he knows that he has to run people over or get the play or he has to have it, as Shane says, he can do it. He has athletic ability to do it, and he has shown that he can do it. And that's one of the things to me, I think is a big plus, having a quarterback like that, especially in the red zone, that can give you that option of him running the ball with toughness, physicality, to get those tough yards to get in the end zone, as well as can run away from somebody to get to the end zone as well. So, you know what? Having that athletic ability in a quarterback is a plus for any offense, and it's a plus for Shane Steichen and the Colts offense.
I want to zoom out on this real quick, Bill, because the stakes of this moment, like, I don't want those to get lost here. The Colts, if they lost this game, their path to making the playoffs is probably insurmountable. But you win this game, and you are right there in the AFC playoff picture going to Denver in week 15. So the stakes of this moment are about as big as you get for going for two. This is different than going for two in like week 3 or week 4. This is week 13, and you're at 5-7. And I just think, Bill, like that decision by Shane Steichen showed such a feel for the moment. And if it didn't work, he would have got killed. He would have got killed by everyone. But you know what? I would have probably sat up here and said it was the right decision because New England in this game was averaging 6.5 yards per play. They had moved the ball into the Colts red zone on 6 of their first 7 possessions. And we'll get into the defense a little bit, but the Patriots, the points were down because they kept shooting themselves in the foot with holding penalties when they got down in the red zone. So this was a situation where I think Shane realized, look, we got down here. Let's go win the game. And while there's a ton of confidence that Anthony's going to get in, look, if he doesn't, I still think this was the right move. You have a chance to win the football game, and you don't leave it up to a coin flip. You don't leave it up to your defense. You leave it up to your 6'4", 244-pound quarterback to make one play in a game where I think he was the most consistent playmaker for the Colts in this game. That to me just showed the right feel. Shane Steichen rose to the occasion as a play caller, as a head coach, and his players then rose to the occasion in that moment.
Yeah, it took some guts for Shane to make that call to go for the win at that moment because also, you know, and I think he had enough information to go for it by what he saw out there in the football field. The Patriots were moving the ball up and down the field against the Colts. They gained a lot of yards on the ground, through the air. They had over 400 yards offense against the Colts defense. So he could see that they were moving the ball. And he probably didn't want to take a chance of, you know what, the Patriots weren't doing a good job in the red zone. They were, as you said, shooting themselves in the foot, not being able to score touchdowns when they got in the red zone. But he also knew that he wanted the ball in his hands. And I think most offensive players, offensive coaches want the ball in their hands. They want to try to go win it themselves. They don't want to have someone else win it, so to speak, even though the defense is part of the team. But wanted to put the ball in AR's hands or JT's hands or Pitt's hands, but it would have been in the offensive hands, and they wanted to go win the football game. And that's what they did. They put the ball in AR's hands. He made the right decision, went there, used his athletic ability, got in the end zone. The Colts get a 25-24 win.
So I was thinking about this, Bill, as I was leaving the stadium. And 2018, let's go all the way back to 2018, and I'm going somewhere
Okay.
else. Mike
Mhm.
Vrabel, first-year head coach of the Tennessee Titans. It's week, what is this, week 6 or 7, maybe? And they're in London, and they're playing the Chargers. They score a touchdown to make it 20-19 with 31 seconds to go, and he goes for 2. Tennessee does not get it. But after the game, he was asked about it, and he said, quote, I told the team that we made a decision that we're going to be aggressive. And early in the drive, he kind of goes on, but I just think that right there, I told the team that we made a decision that we're going to be aggressive. Sometimes when you make this call that Shane Steichen made, and it paid off for him right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you make this call, whether you get it or not, it shows your team, oh yeah, coach has got our back. You remember that? Okay, you remember 2018 too, Frank Reich against
Yes.
Houston, where he goes for it on
Mm-hmm.
4th down in Colts territory in overtime. And it's like, I'm not
Yep.
playing to tie the game. Colts wind up losing that game. But remember, Bill, how that kind of sparked that little run the Colts went on that year? Where players are like, okay, this guy's got our back. Like, he believes in us. Let's go execute for it. Sometimes, Bill, like, and from your perspective, I want to get this here is like, as a player, when your coach shows through his actions how much he believes in you. That, like, how much of a spark can that be for a team? How much of a springboard can that be for a team? Because we were talking about the Colts in 18, they wanted to make the playoffs. Mike Vrabel with Tennessee built an incredible program there over his time in Nashville. Sometimes these things do have this longer lasting effect than just on that one siloed play.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times what happens is the coaches will say that they have faith in you, they have confidence in you, and we're going to be aggressive and all those things. But for players, they want to see it. They won't believe it until they see it or until somehow it's manifested in the play calling, a situation in the game. And when a coach actually does it, and he shows you that, hey, look, I'm going to be aggressive. I believe in you by going for it on fourth down, by going for a win with almost no time left on the clock, and or you could tie the game up. But he has faith in you and say, you know what, we're going to go win this game. Yes, we're going for two. Yes, if we don't get it, more than likely we're probably going to lose the game. But I don't believe we're going to lose the game. I believe we can win this game because I have faith in what these players can do. I have faith in how they can execute the plays because I've seen what they've done in practice. I've seen how they prepared. I understand that they're competitive and they want to win. And it's almost like being a player because believe me, players want to win. They don't want to go into overtime. They want to play to win. If they have a chance to win the game, they want to take that chance and they want the ball in their hands. And Shane showed that he had faith and confidence in those guys by putting the ball in AR's hands and offense hands to go for the win, not the tie, but go for the win. And that was a big win for the Colts today up in New England.
Yeah, Bill, I think the point here is the process was there before the results were. This
Yes.
Shane Steichen followed the right process, and the results are different. It's a different thing we're talking about here. You want the coach who follows the right process there. And like I said, I think he rose to the occasion as a head coach in that moment. That I think is something that's really cool. But let's talk about how the Colts got to that moment. A
Mm-hmm.
19 play, 80-yard drive. Bill, I looked this up. Since 2001, that is the longest drive that a team has had to take the lead in the fourth quarter on a game-winning drive. Previously, the longest was 18 plays. No team has had a drive of 18 plays since it was 2009 on a fourth quarter game-winning drive. So this was 19 plays is nuts. Like Michael Pittman Jr. told me after the game, he's like, it was insane. I was out there for 20 straight plays with the 2 point conversion as well. But that drive, Bill, I think just so epitomized how when players talk about Anthony Richardson's poise and his just kind of fearlessness on the field that we've really seen, especially since he came back from his benching, that drive right there, I think was almost your perfect encapsulation of it in the way that it went down.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're talking about a 19 play drive. This wasn't like a 4 play drive with a big bomb that they threw and they made
They
a great
tried.
play. No, they tried, but it didn't happen this way. But they had 19 plays to go out there and execute and try to get the ball into the end zone. And within those 19 plays, they had 3 fourth down plays and successful on all of them. A pass to Mo Cox, a run play by AR, and of course the touchdown to Alex. So I mean, and when you can execute those plays and definitely the fourth down plays to give yourself an opportunity to continue a drive and to do it by running 19 plays, that's a lot of plays on a drive, on any drive through any time in the game. So it's very, very, very good. And, for that team to go out there and execute and to show that, you know what, no matter what the situation was in this critical situation, they can go out and execute if it's 15 plays or 19 plays. And for them to go down the field and do that, and with Anthony showing the poise that he had on that drive to convert those fourth downs and to move the ball down the field, and of course, to throw the pass to Alec for the game-winning touchdown, and then of course a 2 point conversion to seal the win. That is special, and for the team to do that on the road is very special.
I want to talk about those 3 fourth down conversions here, Bill, because that first one it's 4th and 3, I think, and the Colts run they run kind of a mesh concept where Mo Alley Cox is supposed to kind of like set a legal pick on the defender, and that springs Michael Pittman Jr. open. That was what the play was designed to do because the Colts thought they were going to get man-to-man coverage there. New England drops into zone, and within that, Jabril Peppers comes unblocked off the edge. So Anthony Richardson, to avoid it, he bails out to his right, where basically no one is. There are two defenders around Alec Pierce. Mo Alley Cox sees this, and he starts working back into space. He kind of locks up with Richardson. He tries to stay in phase with him. And that play right there, not designed to go to Mo. Mo didn't even think he was going to get the ball at all on that play. But he has the wherewithal to kind of turn around and be like, okay, either Anthony's going to run it or he's going to throw it to me. And Anthony makes the throw, Mo makes the catch. They pick up 11 yards right there. That just like when you see that play, Bill, and you see Mo kind of recognize, all right, I got to get over there because there's no one else here. What sort of did you see on that play from like a football intelligence standpoint that made it work?
Mo just being an athlete, being a player. When I was playing, had a coach. He always said, "Everybody running, everybody alert," meaning that a lot of times the play is designed to go to someone else, maybe not you. So you might not, you might, I could take a play off here or there, or I might not have to run 100%, or once the play is kind of over, I can kind of take it easy. No, everybody running, everybody alert, meaning that, the ball could come to anybody at any time. And Mo displayed that by just going out, doing what he was supposed to do. I won't call it a pick rock. I'll call it he was supposed to run interference for someone else
Mhm.
as he was going out there to help Pittman out there to get open. But once he saw that AR was getting out of the pocket and running, he kind of basically did his scramble drill and ran with AR, kind of stay on the same plane. And then once he stayed on the same level, kind of plane to going parallel with AR found him in the open spot, hit him, big fourth down play. So give Mo a lot of credit for being an athlete and continue to be an athlete as far as being alert to run, to get open, to find an open space, to be able to catch that pass and to continue that drive on a crucial fourth down play.
By the way, Bill, Anthony Richardson has not been sacked on his last 28 dropbacks when he's been pressured. That goes back to early in the third quarter of the Jets game. So, and that's a play right there where the way Peppers is coming off the edge, a lot of quarterbacks are just they're either not going to see him or they are going to see him and it's going to be too late. And bam, there goes the drive, there goes the game, there probably goes your season. Instead, Anthony's able to make a play outside of the structure of it. Mo is able to make a really nice play on it, and you wind up getting the first down. All right, the other one that the Colts had before the touchdown to Pierce was another fourth down. It's a 4th and 2, and they called just kind of like a QB outside zone almost to Richardson, where he beats Tavai, the linebacker, to the edge, picks up a block from Granson, gets a first down, gain of 6. Bill, I looked it up. In his career, Anthony Richardson has had 10 rushing attempts on fourth down. He's got a first down on 9 of them. So that is a 90% success rate you've got when you say, "Hey, Anthony, go run the football on fourth down." I think that one that he didn't get might have been like a failed tush push as a rookie too. So like not even a real like design for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a weapon in those moments, and as an offense, you have to feel so confident. Like, okay, hey, we get into a 4th and 2 here, we can get this. It's different than with like Philly and the tush push there because like 4th and 1 for them is basically just a first down. You know you're going to get it,
Right.
but it's a different feel. You can be a little bit longer in your distance and still feel really good about Anthony Richardson with the ball in his hands in those moments.
Yeah, and that's what his athletic ability does for you as an offense. It gives you the opportunity to not just to get the 1 yard gain for first down, but it might be 2 or 3 yards. And when you have him back there, it gives you another opportunity or gives you an option to use him to get a first down. So, his athletic ability means so much to the offense. And as you talked about sacks, him being able to get out of the pocket, him being able to avoid the sacks with his athletic ability to possibly extend the play to get the play down to Mo Alley Cox, for example, or someone else. That's a huge plus for the Colts offense. And when you have someone with that athletic ability, it gives you a lot of options to do different things to help your offense to move the ball on fourth down in the red zone, crucial third downs, and to have 19 play drives to go down and score the winning touchdown.
All right. Well, the last fourth down, the Colts are at a 4th and 3, 4th and goal from the 3. They run kind of a cross with Alec Pierce where he's able to get a little bit of leverage on Kyle Duggar, the safety there. Duggar picks him up. Pierce is fast. Anthony throws an accurate pass there. He throws it from a clean pocket, by the way, which, like, speaking of those 19 plays, Bill, offensive linemen aren't subbing in and out. So, like,
No.
those guys are running up and down the field. They are on the field for 19 consecutive plays, then 20 on the 2-point conversion. But a clean pocket there, really important to note. Anthony had time to make an accurate throw to Alec Pierce, who then kind of muscles it away from Duggar, and the Colts wind up getting the touchdown there. Really nice moment for Alec again. Like he continues to show up in these big moments for the Colts this season, and a guy who isn't just a, deep threat, just chuck and duck to Alec. Like a play like that where you got to have a touchdown, your season's over. He's the option on the play because he can run in that straight line. He can get away from Duggar. He makes a play. Huge moment for Alec. Really nice throw by Anthony. And again, really good protection by the offensive line on that play.
Yeah, it's a play where you use Alec's speed and his acceleration where he can get away from defenders by having him line up on one side and actually going across on the other side. And they have a little drag routes, 2 drag routes underneath, one by Pitt, one by Drew Ogletree, I think, where they're crossing each other and kind of using it possibly as a rub, but it didn't work. But you had Alec behind those guys running from the right side to the left, and Anthony made a nice throw, nice touch on the ball. Alec creates some separation from his defender, caught the ball, held on to the ball as he went down to the ground, and a nice play call by Shane and good execution by the offense, and especially by AR and Alec for Alec creating separation and AR just making a nice throw to Alec. And you know what? That was a big play. It gave him a chance to score a touchdown, and then also gave him a chance to win the football game by them going for 2 points later.
All right, let's zoom out a little bit on this offensive game for the Colts. And I want to start with the offensive line, Bill, because from center to right tackle, it was completely different than anything we've seen this year. You got Danny Pinter starting at center with Ryan Kelly on IR, Tanner Bortolini out with a concussion. You make a switch at right guard. Mark Lewinsky's in there. He was signed less than 2 weeks ago to the practice squad. He gets his first start since the 2023 season when he was with the New York Giants. And then at right tackle, you get Matt Gonzalez in there, who had been playing left tackle in place of Bernard Ryman. I thought all 3 of those guys played really well. I thought Danny Pinter had an awesome football game. Like, starting with him, he hasn't played an offensive snap since the 2022 season. I thought he played great in this game, especially when it came to some of the run blocking stuff he was able to do. I thought he had a really solid game. And then Mark Lewinsky, Bill, so much credit to him. I mean, he talked to us about like staying in shape, right? He still lives here, so he's been working out in Carmel, and he really tried to stay in as good a shape as possible, and it showed today on the field. I thought he had a really good game. Again, the Colts are running a lot of stuff behind him and Pinter, which, you got Bernard Ryman and Quentin Nelson on the other side. I kind of figured coming into the game, they're just going to be heavy going to the left with those 2 guys. But the Colts trusted Glowinski and Pinter and Gonzalez to block on the right side and were able to not be as predictable with their run game. What did you see out of that group, Bill? And just how impressive is it that Mark Lewinsky and Danny Pinter, I don't want to lose sight of Danny Pinter in this, were able to step in after not playing offense in a really long time and playing at the level that we saw out of them in this game.
Yeah, I mean, guys that have not played a lot this year. Danny Pinter, of course, hasn't played a lot. Lewinsky's been out of the game and came back just now. So neither of those 2 guys have been playing, and Gonzalez makes the transition from left to right after we've been playing left, and then all of a sudden plays right. So give those three guys a lot of credit. And for Pinner to come in and do what he did as far as not just, blocking stuff like that, but the snap count, getting the ball to AR, those things people take for granted, but that, it takes time. It's something that is very important for a start of a play on offense, that the center and the quarterbacks have a good exchange, good hikes from the center and in regards to in the shotgun, things like that. So very, very good to see that how well Pinner played. And then for me, Lewinsky out there, I mean, look, yes, he stayed in shape, and that's great and everything. But working out shape and working out to play football is not the same as playing football. And for him to come in here and play the way he did, that says a lot about him. Give him credit, not just from a physical standpoint, but from a mental standpoint, to be able to go out there and play all those plays for after not playing all year, but just working out and being in shape and being ready to go. Give him a lot of credit. And as I said earlier, to me, I think moving from one side to the other, people might think, oh, it's just the same position, just, from the left tackle to the right tackle, talking about Gonzalez. You know what? That's not an easy thing to do, to make that transition and to do that, last week one side, this week another side. Give him credit. So give that right side of the line a lot of credit for what they did. And as far as Glowinski, I want to know how he feels tomorrow after this game. He played all snaps on the offensive side of the ball, so I want to see how he feels the next day, because it's a little bit different lifting weights and moving dead weight than going out there moving bodies that are fighting against you and that you have to push down the field or hold off from getting to the quarterback. So we'll see how he feels, but give those guys credit for what they did today, by going out there playing and making some holes for JT and AR and helping the team win the football game.
All right, before we continue on this episode of Instant Reaction, a quick word from our friends at Sony. Bill, I travel a lot during the season, and I couldn't live without the Sony 1000 XM5 noise-canceling headphones. Whether I'm listening to music on the plane or trying to listen back to interviews I conduct in the post-game locker room, the premium noise cancellation these headphones provide keeps me in the zone whether I'm relaxing or working. And when I'm at home, these are great for just hearing you, Bill, or keeping me locked into our podcast while I'm hanging around the house. Take it from me, these are my favorite headphones I've ever owned. The Sony 1000 XM5 headphones are the official headphones of the Indianapolis Colts. All right, Bill, I want to talk a little about Anthony Richardson's decision-making over the course of this game. And, he threw the two picks. The first one was a really nice play by Tavai where he kind of sunk into that space. I think Richardson was trying to layer it in, and Tavai tips it up in the air, winds up getting picked off. Maybe a decision where he didn't see the linebacker there, but also, a really nice play by Tavai. And then the other one, they kind of run that pattern to Pierce where Christian Gonzalez, the cornerback, actually said after the game that they ran that same play earlier and he kind of knew he could sink under the route. So I don't know if he maybe baited that throw a little bit, but Richardson makes a throw, Gonzalez sinks under it, he gets the pick. Those two, Shane Steichen said after the game he's not really worried about either as a real negative for Richardson. But I also want to talk about this. So early in the third quarter, I made a note of this to go back and watch the all 22 of it, and I did right before we started potting here. But it's 11:51 of the third quarter. The Colts have the ball on the Patriots 46-yard line, and the Colts are trying to run this funky play action to Trey Sermon that looks like it's designed to get Pittman on a kind of like maybe like a sail concept here, with Pittman and AD Mitchell running kind of deep routes downfield. There's nothing there. But so Richardson steps up in the pocket to avoid some pressure, and he's like right over the face of Patriot Pat at midfield, and he looks like he's going to just like chuck it downfield. But he pulls it back, he realizes nothing's there, and he takes off and scrambles for a first down. The thing with Anthony Richardson, Bill, he's not wired to just take off and scramble. He wants to throw downfield. But sometimes that does lead to your low percentage throws that are, difficult to complete. And in this instance, there were two pass catchers surrounded by five defenders. And he just said, nope, I'm going to tuck it in and I'm going to run it. I thought that decision right there was one that I was like, okay, that showed some confidence, that showed some poise, and that showed, I thought, just good decision making. Where, yeah, he threw those two picks, but there were other moments in this game where he made good decisions with the football. He made safe decisions with the football that then wound up being plus plays for this offense.
Yeah, I mean, he's learning. I mean, just the more he has an opportunity to play, the more opportunities he has to see different things in film study, as well as actual live game reps. The more he learns and the more comfortable he's getting. And you know what? He knows that he can pull the ball down to run to make some first downs. And there's not anything wrong with that as long as he's, safe and not going to get hurt. When he can get down and avoid contact, do it. And he did that. And those are the things that you want to see in a young quarterback as he continues to develop. And I think you're seeing that with Anthony. He's learning right now that okay, it's not a bad thing to go down after I get a first down to be able to play the next play and hopefully continue a drive. I don't have to always run over people to try to get a big play. And I know my teammates respect me for what I do out in the football field. I don't have to prove anything to them. And if he has that mentality going forward, as far as being safe, making smart decisions, there's no telling what he can do. Because to me, as far as playing quarterback, to me that's one of the most important things is making smart decisions. It's not making the big wow plays. Those plays will come if you make smart decisions. You just have to pick your times when they do come. But if he continues to grow like that by making smart decisions, all those big plays are going to start to come, and you'll see that moving forward.
I also want to make sure we don't lose sight that, Josh Downs didn't play in this game. You didn't have Ashton Doolin, a guy who's been a reliable depth piece in that wide receiver room. Downs being, maybe Anthony Richardson's favorite target since he arrived in Indianapolis. So, you don't want to lose sight that the Colts were undermanned in this game in terms of their pass catchers. But I kind of wrote this. I was like, Anthony Richardson had another like box score Rorschach test where
Mhm.
like if all you're looking at is the box score, you're going to be like, all right, 12 to 24, 100 yards, two picks. Is he really all that good? But I think there were some drops in there. There were some throws he made that, were really good throws that, guys for whatever reason were not able to make a play on the ball. Um, he had his moments in this game certainly, but there was a lot of good on that tape, and I took note of this, Bill, that since he returned from his benching, Anthony Richardson, when not pressured, has the highest Pro Football Focus passing grade of any quarterback in the NFL. So again, take it for what it's worth. PFF grades are not gospel, but that kind of matches the eye test, Bill. Like when he's got a clean pocket, he's accurate, he's making good decisions, and he's putting the ball in a place where his guys can go make a play.
Yeah, I mean, I think from the beginning of the year, we said that if we see consistent growth, a progression going up, I think we all would be happy about what Anthony Richardson has done and where he's come from to where he's going. And I think now, once he came back from his benching, we've seen growth in how he's played out there in the football field, some of the things that he's done out there in the football field. And that's what you want to see. So that, to me, those are the positive things. Now, in this last stretch of games, these 4 games, we want to continue to see that growth as far as him, playing good football, making good decisions out there, and doing the things that he can do and the things that he does well out there in the football field. So if we can continue to see that, then you would say, okay, yes, Anthony's making growth. Now we need to continue to see it going into next year. And you know what? That's what you want to see. You want to see growth. Now, he might have a dip down where he might not play as well,
Hmm.
or might not play as well as we think he should play. But as long as he's making growth, as long as he's working at it, he will get better, believe me. And once he fully reaches his potential, NFL needs to watch out because, I mean, to me, his talent, his physical gifts are unbelievable. And you match that up with him having a better feel for the game and understanding the game with some experience, watch out. I mean, pretty much it might not be anything he couldn't do out there in the football field. We know he can throw the ball 60 yards. We know he can outrun people. We know he can run up over people. So as a quarterback, he will give your offense so many opportunities to do different things out there in the football field that it should give you an advantage.
I mean, look, the if the trend line, like you said, Bill, there might be one that comes down, a game that is a
Mhm.
bit of a down one, but if the trend line is pointing up at the end of the season, you're going to feel really good about where this franchise is going to stand going into 2025. Obviously, you want to
Exactly.
try to make the playoffs this year, but I mean, look, that if you come out of this season feeling good about Anthony Richardson and like, all right, we got our guy, that's the feeling you want. And I kind of want to flip it over to the defense now, Bill, because talking to Zaire Franklin after the game, like he looked me like dead in the eye. I asked him this question of just like, you know, like I brought up something he said earlier about Anthony, where he was like, I can, if you show me that you can come fight in a game that, hey, if we need to get in a brawl, I can trust you to be on my side in a dark alley and all that. And, I was like, did this game kind of like encapsulate that for him? And Zaire told me, quote, he's a dog. When you got one like that at the quarterback position, it's not all different ways. It ain't just running, it's a mentality. When you got one at quarterback, you got a shot. And then he kind of like pauses and he looks at me like just dead in the eyes and he goes, we got a shot. These guys on defense see it. They believe in it. And I think that they also recognize this is something Zaire Franklin also said that they got to raise their level of play. Zaire said, quote, if five's going to play like that, we got to be better than this in regard to their defensive effort in this game. I think they all see it. They all see Anthony Richardson laying it on the line, and they all want to raise their level of play after what they put on the field today.
Oh yes, they definitely want to raise their level of play out there in the football field. And for any player, the thing that you want from your teammates, you want your teammates to respect you and trust you. And the only way they're going to do that is you have to go out there and earn it and show them that you know what you can make the plays or that you're doing the things that the coaches have asked you to do, and you're being successful at it. And them seeing Anthony go out there and make plays and him doing the things out there that, a lot of the players can't do in regards to other quarterbacks on different teams. You know what? They know that Anthony is special. And when he can give you an opportunity to win football games, you yourself want to go out there and say, you know what? I have to do my part. I can't let Anthony down. I can't let the Indianapolis Colts down. I can't let my teammates down. Every teammate there, you want to let them know that, hey, I'm there for you. And I'm going to do everything I can to help win a football game. So those guys know that. So they know now that, you know what? With Anthony out there, they have an opportunity to win football games. They just need to keep it close. And the unit, as far as the defense, they want to do their part. They want to go out there and do their part as far as, you know what? We need to stop people. We need to slow people down. We need to get the ball back to our offense so they can have opportunities, go down there and score some points. But you know what? Defense today, they had that bend, don't break type of mentality
Mm-hmm.
where they give up a lot of yards, but they were tough in the red zone. You know what? And, part of that was because New England shot themselves in the foot, but part of it also was the Colts defense making plays when they needed to. Blackman's interception there was a big play in the red zone. So, you know what? They need to continue to make those plays, but hopefully they can do a little bit better, especially against the run, slow down the run of other teams and stop them from moving the ball down the field.
Yeah, Bill, I think, bend don't break is a good way to put it because the Colts were good in the red zone in this game. Now, granted, they got some assistance from the Patriots getting a ton of
Yes.
penalties when they got down inside the 20. But the thing that was kind of concerning to me, Bill, is the Patriots ran 54 plays on early downs, so first or second down, and they gained 5 or more yards on those plays on 31 of them. So that's well more than half. That right there is going to be that's a tough way to play defense. If New England is, which they did, they consistently were getting these efficient or explosive gains on early downs. New England had 6 runs at 10 or more yards on first or second down. That right there, that's not going to cut it. That was almost like a throwback to early in the season when
Yes.
Houston was able to run on the Colts, and then Green Bay was. They also had
They,
4 passes of 15 or more yards on first or second down. So that right there, that made it really difficult for the Colts to sustain anything. And like I mentioned earlier in this podcast, Bill, New England made it into the red zone on 6 of their first 7 possessions in this game. That right there, if you are playing a better football team, they're going to make you pay more than the Patriots were able to make the Colts pay in this game today.
Yeah, they're going to convert on more than just the what the Patriots converted on in the red zone. What they were 2 for 6 total, I think the
Hmm.
Patriots were. Well, so they're going to convert on more than that. And the good teams, they're going to take advantage of you giving them opportunities to get down the field, and them making big plays on first and second down, and then once they get in the red zone, convert those opportunities to touchdowns, not just field goals. So that's what I was talking about. The Colts are going to have to hopefully get better, especially in the middle of the field between the 20s. Slow teams down, keep them from moving the ball down the field, keeping them from possessing the ball. Again, the Colts lose the time possession battle again today. And that's, to me, is going to be a big thing moving forward. They're going to have to find ways to get off the field from a defensive standpoint. They're going to have to find a way to slow these teams down. And you know what? It's great that the Colts were stout in the red zone, but they're going to have to be a little bit better between the 20s to play against these better teams that will move the ball. And once they get in the red zone, they will convert those plays into touchdowns and not just field goals.
Yeah, Drake May completes 80% of his passes in this game, Bill. He goes 24 of 30 for 238 yards. He scrambled 5 times for 59 yards. 41 of those came on a scramble in the first half. He's a good player. Drake May, I think Drake May's going to
Yeah.
be a really good player in this league, but allowing an 80% completion percentage, that's not something the Colts want to do and want to, continue to make a habit of, especially when you get, a guy like Bo Nix coming up in a couple of weeks who is a very accurate quarterback who's going to have a high completion percentage. You want to be able to keep that as low as you can. The thing that sort of worried me, Bill, is watching this game and having seen a little bit of the Broncos, was that the way New England was able to play offense almost kind of felt like a blueprint for how Denver could play it against the Colts. Outside of then Denver, you would expect to be better in the red zone. So certainly some stuff for the Colts to clean up going into that game in Denver that's going to mean a lot for the AFC playoff race.
Yeah, it's going to mean a lot. I would look at it as the one good thing is the Colts are going into their bye week, so they have time to look at a lot of different things to see how they can change some things up to hopefully maybe put a few new wrinkles there on defense in regards to do something that the Broncos haven't seen maybe to hopefully help them out. So we'll see what happens moving forward in this next week for the Colts with their bye week. And yes, they'll get some rest, but we'll see what the coaches come up with, some different wrinkles in the game plan to help them against Denver. But they have to find a way to be better between the 20 against these good teams because they will take advantage of it. And usually what happens is, yes, if you've been doing this all along, all season, eventually it's going to catch up with you. And unfortunately, it might bite you in the butt. So that's why I say the Colts need to make sure they take care of this stuff right away and try to find a way to be better between the 20s. And then, of course, if they can be as good as they were today in the red zone, that is great. But have to try to slow teams down. And if teams want to run the ball, we have to find a way to stop the run so that, you make the team one dimensional, then hopefully you get them off the field and get the ball back to your offense. So it's going to be important for the defense to, come up with something different to stop these teams and so they can get off the field.
It's going to be a really interesting last 4 weeks of this season. Bill, you and I will be with our listeners and viewers every step of the way here on Instant Reaction presented by Sony. And remember, this NFL season, feel every play, every hit, every moment with the Sony 1000 XM5 noise-canceling headphones, the official headphones of the Indianapolis Colts. With premium noise cancellation, you're in the zone, no distractions, just pure football. Whether you're in your living room or on the go, you'll never miss a beat with Sony headphones. All right, that's going to do it for us here on this episode of Instant Reaction presented by Sony. Bill, you and I will be back in 2 weeks after the Colts face the Denver Broncos at Empower Field at Mile High. We'll enjoy the bye week and then be right back for what we hope is a playoff run here on Instant Reaction. For Bill Brooks, I'm JJ Stankevitz. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Instant Reaction presented by Sony. Talk to you in a couple of weeks. So long.